Welcome to Spotlight on Jackson County. About the double whammy.
Job creation and education and health going.
A Tauntaun sleeping bag.
Yes, we go, a lot of changes take place.
What about all this gridlock? And it's like...
Hello and welcome to Spotlight on Jackson County. It's indeed a privilege to have in the studio tonight here at WKFK TV, Mr. Randy Bosarge. He's the winner of the District 5 Board of Supervisors Republican primary. Randy, congratulations.
Thank you, Doug.
Welcome back to
Appreciate
the show.
that. Thank you.
Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah, you won.
I won, Doug, and you know, I was expecting a runoff the whole time, you know, out there campaigning for the last several months, and winning it outright is still, I'm still poking myself to see if it's real, you know, and I just want to thank the voters of District 5. I mean, I really do. I'm just so humbled by the outpour of votes and support. And, you know, I'm going to tell you, not taking away anything from my opponents, but, you know, it's not easy to beat a longtime incumbent without a runoff in a primary election. It's that don't happen that often. And I know the voters are ready for a change. And, you know, there is another election, though. All I've won is a primary election.
Yes.
There is another election, and it's in November. And November the 3rd in the general election, and I have two quality independent candidates that I'm running against. So I can't take them lightly. I've got to keep the intensity's got to still be going. I've got to work hard and still get the message out there and you know, hope the voters, you know, come back and vote for me in November. And so the intensity is still there. I'm still running like I was running for the last several months. So
well, let me just say one thing. I mean, during the last campaign, there were a lot of people saying, Randy Bosarge is going to raise your taxes. Let me just tell you, folks, if you know anything about anything, you know that one supervisor cannot raise your taxes.
Correct.
It's impossible. He cannot do it.
Oh.
So, Randy, you're not going to raise their taxes.
No, I have no intentions of raising taxes. As a matter of fact, I want to figure out a way to create more tax revenue. And you know, for me, it's going to be, you know, helping recruit businesses. And who better else to recruit, like I said on a previous show, who better else to recruit businesses than a small businessman? And because, you know, I have more, so to say, skin in the game, because, you know, if we bring more businesses in here, myself and other businessmen have a chance to stay busy and make a living and hopefully pay more taxes. So if we bring in more businesses and the new businesses generate taxes, I'm able to generate more taxes as getting more work, then it's a win-win for the county. So that's you know, pretty much how I'm looking at this.
Well, you know, I always thought that a guy that signs the front of the checks is always a better guy to have than the guy that might sign the back of the check.
Exactly.
Because you know what it takes to keep a small business going. You know what it takes to get a payroll paid. You know what it takes to keep going through good and bad times.
Right.
And it's not an easy task. Well, and you know that's going to help you. I think when you if you win the general election.
Exactly.
And,
well, it's like I tell my friends in business, is being self-employed it has its advantages, but it has its disadvantages. But like I always tell my friends, I'm looking for a new job every day. So every day I'm looking for that next job. So I'm either, you know, talking to a potential customer, or I'm bidding a job, or I'm winning a job. And then I'm working the job and completing it. So every day I might be working on one job, but I'm also either talking to somebody about a potential new job, or I'm working on a bid. So, and that's if I get elected in November and come January as a new supervisor, that's how I want to work for the county. I want the county to be looking for that next new tax revenue business every day. Yeah. And if I can help in that, negotiate or introduce or whatever I need to do as a supervisor, look, I'm going to be doing that, and I want to do that. So that's how passionate I am about, putting this county back on top. Yeah. I mean, we've lost to some other counties because they've been able to bring in more businesses, and especially the north part of the state. The north part of this state has been able to bring in more new businesses, and 500 jobs here, 1,000 jobs there. All that adds up, and so I want Jackson County to be in that mix. And if I have to travel the state, I'm willing to travel the state to bring in these other companies to help offset our taxes, so that as homeowners and business people, we don't have to worry about taxes going up every year.
Yeah.
So,
well, speaking of traveling the state and working, this guy appears on the show and he's got his suit coat on or whatever, but I've seen him out there on job sites with a shovel pulling rewire in forms and pulling plastic and actually digging. So you've got experience out there getting down and dirty and working in construction, and that's going to help you probably when you're dealing with projects that are going to be going on in the county. Your knowledge of that is going to be a help. But I agree. The voters have spoken. The voters are ready for a change. I think the entire country is ready for a change. I think Jackson County is ready for a change. And thank you for getting out and voting.
Oh, thank you.
It's a privilege. Really.
I'm telling you, I'm still thanking the voters of District 5 because, I've called just about everybody I have a phone number for. And some people I've looked up their numbers and called them. And I don't think I'll get to everybody, but
well, now's your chance.
I really appreciate, and I'm humbled by the support and the vote. And I look forward to the November general election, and hopefully, you'll be able to come back and vote for me. And if I can get into office in January, I'm going to work hard just like I do in my business every day, because there's, I have this get her done attitude, and we'll figure out a way and we'll get it done, and sometimes it'll be quick, sometimes it'll take a little time, but in fact, most all my subcontractors that work for me will tell you, he just figures out a way and he gets it done. So, so that's why I want to bring to being a supervisor is just, we'll figure it out and we'll get it done.
And I think that's what the people want. They want somebody that'll get out there and get it done for them. And speaking of getting it done, and I know this is kind of a touchy subject, but we need to find a solution to a situation that's going on in our county, and we need to keep our hospital here.
Oh, we do. We need
to see that we can keep the promise made to the retirees, because if you promise this and then that's where your living is coming from, and then all of a sudden somebody votes to take it away from you, that's pretty traumatic.
It is. And since this began in November, since this has been out there, like I said on a previous show, my career with the sheriff's office, most of that career I worked a part-time job. Sometimes I worked 2 and 3 jobs because I had a wife and 4 children, and I wanted my children to have what they needed and be able to send them all to college, which I did, and they've all graduated from college and they're all in their professional lives. But from the beginning, I've said that, since this started, is that these people were promised something. And while I worked at the hospital, they were promised this pension. And most of them are my friends. Most of them that are out there on that picket line I worked with at one point or another, because I did work for the hospital part-time for over 12 years. And started out in the construction department and ended up in the security. And actually helped form the first armed security division in the emergency room, because in the early 90s, they were having problems with just the time of the period, and the doctors and nurses felt like they needed somebody that could respond and react, and that's what we did. And but I've created a lot of friends there. And when you have a friend or somebody you meet, and they come to you and they say, I'm 70 years old, and I retired 10 or 12 years ago, and you know, I'm on Social Security, and that pays me about $600 a month. My pension, if I lose my pension, I'll lose my life, because I can't afford to live. And a lot of these folks don't even have their spouse anymore. Their spouse is...
They can't go back to work.
And they can't go, and most of them cannot go back to work. I mean, bless their heart, some of them are on walkers, you know, some of them are on canes, some of them have to have assistance getting around. And you know, if you take that from these people for some ulterior motive, I don't see how these people can live with themselves that are trying to do this. I couldn't do it. And so, you know, we've got to protect these people, and as supervisors, I'm going to figure out a way to do it. And it might not be popular with people outside the hospital or people within the hospital. It might not be popular with them, but we're going to figure out a way, and we're going to make this happen, and we're going to bring that hospital back to where it used to be.
That's vitally important, in my opinion, Randy. The single health system needs to come back to where it used to be for a lot of reasons. The retirees, for one thing, but without that hospital system there, we cannot attract large industries who are going to rely on a good education system, which we have. A good healthcare system, which
is in limbo
on,
right now. Yeah.
And a recreation system.
Correct. And we have that.
And we have that.
We have that.
And the Board of Supervisors have give it to them. Folks, they've done a good job at that. But you're going to have to maintain it and improve that also. But the hospital system is vitally important if we're going to attract other industry and businesses into the county,
right, to
help our economic development.
In my opinion, the hospital is the most important process or tool in recruiting businesses. And you know, we have a hospital system that not only has one hospital but has two hospitals. So and that hospital really doesn't have any competition from any other hospitals other than some small clinics that are, you know, from other sources. But you know, we have the hospital system, and we have, you know, the ability to make it better and to make it the tops like it used to be. And I'm not saying it's not tops right now, but a lot of this, you know, financial situation and stuff like that has got it off track, and we just need to put it back on track. And that's where I want to figure it out. Hopefully, with your vote and confidence in November, in January I can start working on it, and with all the other new supervisors that'll hopefully be coming on board, and even with some existing supervisors if they stay, if some of them stay. You know, my number one goal, if I get elected, is going to be to try to fix the hospital system, get it back on track, and take care of the retirees, and make it the best it can be. And because we have to have that hospital if we want to attract new businesses and keep people here. I mean, if you don't have a dependable hospital system without all the controversy, then people are going to start going elsewhere. Even people that live here in this county, they're not going to feel comfortable, and they're going to go elsewhere. And I've been told that some people have gone elsewhere.
Well, I can tell you that recently I personally have had some health issues, and I have benefited greatly from single hospital systems. So don't give up on them.
No, don't give up.
Don't give up on them. You know, hang in there, and they have some great staff. They have some great people. Unfortunately, they have lost some staff, and they've lost some doctors because of this. But hopefully, we can build it back up, and hopefully, we can make it as great or greater than it was.
And I think a supervisor or board of supervisors is, you know, as it's been stated before, they might be the landlords or whatever, but we're really more. You would be more than landlords. I mean, a supervisor or supervisor board of supervisors together, you know, you're going to listen to them. You know, especially if you appoint somebody to oversee that hospital, you know, you're going to listen to them. And if you don't, then you know eventually you're not going to get, you know, reappointed or whatever. And so my goal would be to have a trustee that wants to listen to both sides, not just one side, but listen to both sides. And then a professional that can put it all together and say, this is what we need to do. And you know, that's what I would, you know, if I get elected and the opportunity comes available, you know, for a trustee, then that's the person I'm looking for. I'm looking for a professional that knows how to make things happen, just like me, you know, and that's what I would be looking for. And I'm not going to settle for anything less. So, but I just want to be able to get through November and hopefully get elected, and then be able to share my vision and execute my plan with the help of others to just get this back on track and make it right.
Well, there's a lot of people out there that believe in you, Randy, and a lot of people that believe that you're the person to do that. You got 51.1%,
yeah,
1% of the vote. So that's.
Like I said, I'm still poking myself, because
that's a lot of folks saying that, hey, we want Randy Bosarge.
It's very humbling, Doug. I'm gonna tell you, I'm just humbled and amazed, and thank God and the people every day. I mean, I really do. I'm just. In fact, a friend of mine told me this morning. He says, "Man, if I didn't know you, I would say that smile was painted on you, but I know it's not." And you've been smiling since Tuesday night. And I said, well, I have something to smile about. And I hope to be able to keep the smile and keep it going, and through November and into January is what I hope. Yeah.
Well, Randy, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with more of this interesting conversation with Mr. Randy Bosarge, the supervisor of District 5, who won the Republican primary. And we'll be right back right after this.
Join us for lunch at the Tiki Restaurant, Lounge, and Marina, where you can enjoy one of our 10 different lunch specials ranging from $8.95 to $9.95. Or try our $9.95 menu, available after 2 p.m. Tuesday through Friday and all day Saturday and Sunday. On Tuesday night, bust open some crab legs with our all-you-can-eat special from 5 to 8 p.m. The Tiki Restaurant, Lounge, and Marina, open Tuesday through Saturday for lunch and dinner.
Gulf Coast Army Navy in Pascagoula has everything you're looking for, with a huge selection to choose from. From security gear to medals, insignias, and patches, we've got you covered. Looking for fire-retardant clothing? Look no farther than Gulf Coast Army Navy. Camping gear, Boy Scout equipment, we've got it all. Looking for 550 cord? We've got it. Work boots? We've got that too. And don't forget, we handle all your embroidery needs. Gulf Coast Army Navy, 1824 Denny Avenue, Pascagoula.
Welcome back to Spotlight on Jackson County. We are continuing our interesting conversation tonight here at WKFK TV7 with Mr. Randy Bosarge. Randy won the District 5 Supervisor Republican primary race. And Randy, we've been talking to you about a lot of things before we went to the break. But I want to talk about you've been a lifelong resident of Jackson County.
Yes.
So you know a lot of people, and you have a dedication to the county and the people in the county.
Yeah. Not only me, my family, my extended family is, you know, we pretty much settled here, from what I've been told, 1699, and been here ever since. You know, so
wow.
When the county was pretty much founded, you know, so one family member came over and just kind of, you know,
that was it.
Laid it out, you know. So yeah, and it's not only me; it's my family. We're lifelong residents of this county, and you know, I love Jackson County. Look, I was telling somebody yesterday, if I leave this county more than a week, it's like I got to get home. You know, I got. You know, somebody might need me. I got to get back home, and so I can't stay gone longer than a week. It'll drive me crazy. I got to come back. You know, so.
You worked for the Sheriff's Department for 16 years.
Yeah, I was a deputy sheriff for 16 years, and you know, enjoyed that, and started out in the patrol division, worked at the jail a little bit off and on, and then in 1991 we started a program called the Criminal Interdiction Program, and of course I had to take on a four-legged partner when I did that, and he, thank goodness, because you know, I always thought I worked hard, but he just about outworked me. I mean, of course, great dog. Ali was his name, and we probably seized about $12-13 million worth of drugs off through the county, and about $2 million of that was cash and vehicle assets and stuff like that we were able to turn back over to the county. Well, actually, we used them in the sheriff's office to, purchase equipment. A lot of times, back then, in the mid-90s, county finances were kind of tight, and so we were able to use that money to buy much needed equipment for all the deputies in the sheriff's office, and I was proud to be a part of that. I was always, it was always nice to know that if we needed something, we had the ability to get it, and so I was
been a
always proud of that.
businessman for 15 years now?
Yeah. When I left the sheriff's office in '99, I started a construction business in 2000, and then I actually went to work for another construction company for several years and worked my way up to general superintendent. I started out as an assistant superintendent, and I worked my way up through a superintendent to a general superintendent, and for the last 2 years of when I worked for them, I ran all their operations in Mississippi along the Gulf Coast. So, and still had my construction business on the side. So, working and hard work and stuff. I mean, that's
nothing new to you.
Nothing new to me. I enjoy it. It keeps me busy and keeps me active, and I spend a lot of time with my wife and children. So, as long as I'm able to do all that, it kind of just all works.
And you served on you served on the Jackson County Utility Authority Board for 7.5 years.
For 7.5 years, yeah. And matter of fact, I was appointed to that board right about the time that the CBG money came in. There was about $96 million that came into Jackson County to put infrastructure throughout the north part of the county through Van Cleve, Hurley Wade, North Latimer area and stuff, and which has been done, and now that infrastructure has also helped in the Van Cleve and Hurley Wade area to bring in some new businesses, because one thing like we talked about before, there's several criterias that when a business comes into your county, they look at the hospital situation, they look at recreation, they look at the schools, but they also look for infrastructure, and if there's not any water and sewer available, or it can't get to them, then they can't come, because trying to build treatment ponds or drill huge wells and stuff are just cost prohibitive. They just can't, and then not only is it cost prohibitive to do all that most of the time, then it just becomes a maintenance situation for them, and so it affects their bottom line to where they know they're going to use X amount of gallons of water a month. They know they're going to pay X amount of dollars a month for sewer. So that's an easier item for them to budget than it is for them to try to budget anticipated maintenance and stuff like that. So water and sewer infrastructure is very, very important, along with the other things to bring businesses to the county. So
sounds like all this experience is going to help you there.
I hope so, Doug. I hope so.
You were also Mississippi Home.
In 2012, Governor Bryant appointed, and I got to know the governor when he was lieutenant governor through the Home Builders Association, he saw how passionate I was about housing, and so in 2012. He called me and said, "Hey, would you be interested in serving on the Mississippi Home Corporation?" I said, "What is that? I've never heard of it." He says, "Well, you're going to be interested to find out what it is." And I looked it up online, read about it, and said, "Wow, the Home Corporation is responsible for all single-family and multifamily housing in the state. Whether it's financing, tax incentives, tax credits, whatever." It all has to go through the Home Corporation, and the Home Corporation handles anywhere from $800 million to almost $1 billion. In fact, it's been said that it's the second largest agency next to the Revenue Department, state tax collector. The state tax commission, and did not know that. But the Home Corporation handles a lot of like if you wanted to build a 400-unit elderly care facility, you would go through the Home Corporation to see whatever tax credits there are out there, because there is some elderly care tax credits. There is some, different kind of bond credits and stuff you can get to help get that project over the hump and get it financed. And the Home Corporation actually does financing too. They have a bond financing part of it there, and they issue out probably a couple $100 million worth of bonds every year for folks to rehab, existing apartment multifamily units. We probably spend just as much money rehabbing existing units as we do building new units. So because if you get a unit that's 30 years old and it's never been rehabbed before, it's time to bring it up to date.
This is sounding a great deal like all of this experience that you're having. I mean, one of the things that business and industry also look at when they're coming into a community is affordable housing.
Correct.
And housing that's going to meet some sort of code, and housing that's going to stand up to our possibility of hurricanes. I always said we live on the coast.
Right.
It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Right. That's it. And so far it's been...
So far hasn't had a win.
We hadn't had a win, thank goodness.
I'm not looking forward to the next win.
Me neither.
I hope there's never another one. But we live here. So a lot of this experience with utilities, home building associations, and you were the vice chair of the Mississippi Wind Pool.
Yeah, we in 2010, the legislature created the Mississippi Wind Pool Coordinating Council, and the reason why it was created because there was some money coming from FEMA to Mississippi to help retrofit homes to meet the international builders codes for strengthening up your homes for wind. And so a lot of your major insurance companies that were writing insurance at the time in Mississippi said, well, if you had a way to retrofit existing homes to make them stronger, then we could consider, doing some insurance rebates and stuff, or making sure that insurance rates don't go up anymore. So, and we were able to take that from existing homes to new homes. So we have a retrofit program for new homes also, and it's been mighty successful. And the $30 or $40 million that was issued to Mississippi several years ago, probably rehabbed over. Not rehab, but retrofitted, I think it was like 2,000 or 3,000 homes along the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Wow.
And when it first started out, it's funny. When it first started out, FEMA was doing it was 75% of the money came from FEMA, 25% was a homeowner match. And the first time we met, we said, okay, yeah, let's put the program out there, see what it does. Well, 6 months later we met, and there was only like 200 or 300 people that had applied for it, and it was like, wow, what are we not doing? And a couple of us were sitting around saying, well, some of the bids are coming in at like $5,000 and $10,000 to retrofit, or some of them are even $20,000 to retrofit a home. And so you take, like I told the guy from FEMA, I said, look, you take 25% of $10,000. That's a lot of money. That's $2,500, $3,000, and a lot of people don't have that. So, the guy looked at me and said, well, what do you think? I said, man, you put about 10% on there, and I think we'll flood the gates. And so he called me about 3 months later and said, man, my boss said, yeah, let's go 10% and let's see what it does. Had over 3,000 applications within 6 months after that, after FEMA said it would be a 80% their part, 90% their part, 10% on the homeowner. And so, like I said, so far it's been close to 3,000 homes that have been retrofitted. And,
well, Randy, this sounds like all of this stuff is going to really help you and the things that you've done and your dedication to Jackson County. We've got 1 minute left in the show. I want to congratulate you,
Thank you
on your Republican primary win, but you've got another election coming up in November.
Yes, and 2 quality independent candidates. Now, I can't stress that enough. These guys are like me. They've been in this county a long time. I've met one of them I haven't met, but I've read up on both of them. And from what I've read so far and some of the people I've talked to, they're great guys. So, I just hope the voters, I look forward to the voters going back in November and hopefully voting for me. And if I can win this, election in November, then, January we're gonna, as they say, strap up the boots and we're gonna get her done. You know, that's what I want to do.
That's kind of what I've been hearing from you the whole show.
Yeah, we're gonna get her done. I might have to come by the museum and get some boots from you so I can strap them up.